What's going on, people? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. Today we're doing another transfer review. I don't know what you want to call it, because what we're actually doing in this window, that is the real question. The morning after, or the evening after the night before, battered and bruised in the Manchester derby at home. But you know, life must go on and things must keep rolling or stagnating, as a case at Manchester United. So we're going to go through some of the transfer news of today. Some good news, you might think, depending on who you are. We've heard, that Sean Longstaff apparently is no longer a serious consideration for Manchester United. For me, that's good news, because I didn't want him in the first place. When the rumours were around in the summer, I was like, well, no thank you. And then they resurfaced again. But you know, so there's only so much you can believe when it comes to these newspaper reports. But it's still worrying at times when you think, we might actually end up with this person. And I didn't see much last season. I haven't been really impressed this season. The two games we played against Newcastle this year, it's been his brother Matty Longstaff that scored against us, and I damn sure don't want to sign him either. So that's definitely going to be good news for the Manchester United faithful. I don't think there's anyone who's really disappointed, maybe other than Sean Longstaff himself, if that ever really had any traction. We have heard, however, actually before I even get into the main one, Ashley Young is subject to massive interest from Inter Milan. Antonio Conte, we know obviously he can play a wing-back role on both sides of the field. He's done it for a number of years, basically since LVG joined Manchester United back in 2014. Yeah, 2014. And since then he's been playing fullback for Manchester United. So it's definitely a position that Antonio Conte is looking at. People are going to be surprised, Ashley Young, in terms of why would Inter Milan want him. Antonio Conte is a very good manager, so he must have, you know, who am I to question his judgment, especially how he got into playing so far this season, specifically in Serie A. Of course, they're knocked out of the Champions League into the Europa League. Man United couldn't meet them. Lukaku, Sanchez, and possibly Ashley Young if that deal happens. But Solskjaer did shut that down a bit in his, I believe it was the pre-match. I think it was the pre-match press conference. And he said basically this isn't the time to talk about transfers out. We need to strengthen where we're thin on the ground as it is, and that's a fact. Like, we've got injuries galore from back to front. Losing any player in this window, you know, I don't mind a pre-contract agreement being signed or anything like that, but losing any player in this window is just going to weaken us, really and truly. Like, even if we replace that person as an individual, yes, the squad is now stronger, but we lose a leg, a man. And as it stands, for example, we've only got one fit centre-back. Those are the kind of low resources we're actually running on. So I'm not too keen to lose anyone, really, in this January transfer window. Doesn't mean we now need to go and sign them on these long-term deals to protect their value. They ain't got no value. There's a reason why their contracts are running down. Let them run down, but we need to keep the squad as big as possible, because especially when the Europa League comes back, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We've heard also that Christian Eriksen has been subject to a £20 million bid from Manchester United, and Spurs want him to make that move because, of course, if he was to move to a Premier League club in this month, it will have to be with a fee. He can agree a pre-contract with foreign clubs as of now, and obviously Spurs won't get any compensation, any fee for him. So they would love for him to go to a club in this January transfer window. We know Inter Milan have been in contact and are interested in him. The reports are that Man United haven't made a £20 million bid. As I said in my previous transfer video, that would be my top target. That would be my top target. But the word is that his agent wants him to wait until the summer. And of course, it gives him a bigger option of clubs to choose from, literally anyone. Because there's no transfer fee in the summer, once his contract is up, his potential wages would be much higher than he will get at any other stage. And of course, then agent fees, sign-on fees, those would be all increased as well to compensate for the fact that the club will be paying no transfer fee. So it's definitely in the agent's interest for him to wait until the summer. It's in Eriksen's financial interest to wait into the summer. What is in his football interest? That is the question. You know, what Man United want is one thing. What his agent wants is another thing. For me, the most important thing is what does Eriksen want? Because what I wouldn't want is a player come in maybe just for the money or because he feels forced. I want a player. I only want players at Man United who want to be here. We've signed players since Fergie who didn't really want to be here. Di Maria's one. He wanted to go PSG, couldn't get that move. He was effectively forced into us. We took that. Great player as he was. But he didn't really want to be here. So at the first opportunity, he was out. And I wouldn't want that for Eriksen. We've been burned with a number of transfers in the last 6 years. But the big one, the big news of today is Doni van der Beek from Ajax. He rose to prominence last season. Ajax's sensational run to the semi-finals of the Champions League, of course, winning their domestic double as well. The previous season, of course, they got to, was it the previous season? No, it was a few years back when they got to the Europa League final. But he is a product of Ajax. Definitely because of the way Ajax play football, he's a baller in terms of just the technical ability that he has. And from what I saw, the main game that I watched constantly right the way through for both legs was the Ajax versus Spurs, and that first leg at home Spurs were at home. He was very good. Did he score in that game? I feel like he scored. Let me just double check. Ajax. I think he scored in that game. I could be. He did. Yeah, he did score. I knew I was right. And he had a very good game. Completely dominated Spurs. And as a matter of fact, Ajax dominated Spurs over the 2 legs. It was just 3 moments of brilliance, individual beauty, brilliance from Lucas Moura why they didn't get to the final. The fee that's been quoted is 50 million. I mean, in today's market, I guess that's expected. Young player. And they've sold, who they've sold? They've sold Matthijs de Ligt to Juventus. They've sold Frankie de Jong to Barcelona. Obviously, we know Hakim Ziyech. He is touted to be possibly moving somewhere else. He did sign a new contract, and I think it took out of his release clause, which was about 35 million, which nobody activated in the summer. And Donny van der Beek is another who's now been touted as possibly leaving, and we need reinforcements. We've heard today that central midfield is the priority for this January transfer window, and what was clear, I spoke about it yesterday in the match reviews, clear the deficiencies we have in the middle of the park. I hope that we can add to it. The fact that they've been knocked out the Champions League into the Europa League, hopefully that plays into our hands. Solskjaer does want him. We're hearing, and he's willing to wait till the summer. But force their hand, make that signing. These signings, if we can get 1 or 2 preferably, can ultimately mean that we have a somewhat successful season, i.e. qualifying for the Champions League, because it's so tight and the teams competing for that, I would say, 1 extra spot are so inconsistent. It's there, it's available, not for the taking per se. It's not going to be easy, but we give ourselves a better opportunity if we can make those signings. Coming out this month with the same squad, no chance whatsoever. So that's a sign. I would take that. I would take that 100%. 22 years old. And as I said, there's a number of players we need. So it's not like we sign him, therefore we don't need Grealish or Maddison. For example, we don't need Sancho. No, we get him and we get that player and we get that player. Because our squad, our team is bad as it is already in terms of the first 11. But the squad is disgustingly bad. Like, it's terrible. It makes me sick. Looking at, I said yesterday, you look at that squad, you're physically sick. You're physically sick. But I'm not going to go back over that. But that's the news stories regarding Manchester United transfers. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on all that has been discussed, and would you like to see Donny van der Beek in a Man United shirt this season, or possibly next season, but this season specifically? And Eriksen, how likely do you think that transfer is to happen? Should we go all out to secure him this month? Guys, make sure you hit the like, share and subscribe button. I'll see you soon.